Good morning and welcome to the Frontiers of Knowledge segment of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. We nowadays hear of pollution every time, and most of the time we hear about air pollution, then we talk of the water pollution, and sometimes we talk of the earth being polluted as a whole. But there are two pollutions which we rarely talk about. One is the noise pollution, and the other is light pollution. About light pollution, I'll talk some other day. Let's talk of the noise pollution. And do you know, this world is full of noise, and the decibels that are being propounded by industry, by transport, and most of all by the aircrafts and the airports are the worst noise polluters. And the noise pollution is a major issue afflicting this world because it causes stress. Secondly, this is responsible for people being deaf, a deficiency. And when you are deaf, your stress increases because you are not able to communicate properly. So the travel becomes full of stress. You are already traveling, going from one time zone to another, from one climate to another climate. And the hassle of traveling is always there. Coupled with that, the noise of the airports is maddening. The crowds and everything. So, to have stress-free travel, to have noise-reduced travel, we need silent airports. And the future of the stress-free travel is silent airports. Now the very concept of silent airports is novel, new, and most of the people don't accept it. But the reality is that the silent airports are here to stay, and they are trending. Sorry. This growth of the silent airports in the last few years has not been noticed by the common people, but it is a major effort being undertaken to reduce the decibel level and ensure stress-free travel. And now the silent airports are appearing all over the world. We are aware, as I said earlier, the airports are famous for being noisy places. They give us the rush that we all associate with going on a holiday or on a travel. And we have come to accept noise and the crowds. The screaming of the children, the wheelie luggage is reverberating across the floors, and the announcements from all the airlines and from the airport authority that are made every minute alerting new customers to the boarding gate. Imagine now a situation where all the announcements stop all of a sudden, where the screeching of the trolleys, the luggage trolleys is not there, where the sound of the airplanes deplaning and going up can be reduced or muffled, and it becomes a heaven of peace and calmness. It may not be possible, but just imagine if you could mute all that out, as if you have put on noise cancelling headphones and everything becomes quiet. That is now a reality in selected airports, and that is a real boon to the travelers. Now, what counts as a silent airport? What is it that defines a silent airport? A silent airports are those airports which are cutting down the amount of the background noise in the terminals. And a number of the silent airports are there, and as a matter of fact, The number is increasing every day. This is the first time I think I have seen a real proactive action by the industry involved. So they want to make the traveling experience more relaxing for the passenger. And to make it more relaxing and less stress-free, silent airports are the answer. So instead of the anchors and the announcers making noise every 5 minutes, these silent airports have stopped delivering announcements altogether. And the only exception is in emergencies. For example, the child is lost or found, or some flight is delayed in a very unreasonable manner. But there are no final calls and no call outs for the late passengers. So it becomes a hammer. Only one or two announcements, maybe instead of the 50 announcements, and I have seen at the airport there's a continuous flow of the announcements. So if the number of announcements is reduced, and then in the silent airport, some of them, what they have done is zero announcement in the main waiting area. But once you are inside the gate, then some exceptions are made. So they are again muted, confined to a certain area, but do not add to the noise of the main waiting area. So as a result, the decibel level is reduced, the noise pollution is reduced, and it means passengers can focus on the important announcements as and when they happen, which is again a positive sign. You don't have to listen to every announcement, and 90% of the announcements are not relevant to you. So while this makes a less stressful overall experience, it calls for the passengers themselves to be vigilant about their own flights. They can look at the boards or they can take care of themselves. Why should a passenger need to be reminded that everybody has boarded and the whole plane is waiting for the lately come Johnny to come? Why? If a person is that careless, he needs to suffer. So let him stew in his own soup. Now, why do we need silent airports? As I said, silence offers opportunity for self-reflection, for mental balance, for peace, for being calm. And it also gives you time to daydream. When you're traveling, you're not doing anything, so why not dream about that? Let's indulge in your reveries. And these activities activate the multiple parts of the brain. The US Army clinical health psychologists conducted a research and they found that this opportunity for travel should in fact be an opportunity for indulging in reveries and daydreams, because that will activate those parts of the brain which are normally not active. So this should give you time to turn down the inner noise, increase awareness of what matters most. And that means being still, and then silence can help you. And secondly, they say this will help you lower your blood pressure. Now, as I said, traveling by itself is very stressful, especially in these days of pandemic. So unexpected emergencies, the hassles that you face at the immigration, and so on and so forth. So your blood pressure goes up. And the more noise is there, the more higher the blood pressure is. So why not some or the other take steps that the blood pressure keeps to a normal low level? In 2030, a study was conducted, and it was a pivotal study on silence. And it was published in a journal called Brain Structure and Function. And the study used both noise and silence to monitor the effect of sound on the brain. The silence was originally intended to be the control in this study, but when they found was very surprising. Scientists discovered that when the subjects of the study were exposed to 2 hours of silence per day, they developed new cells in hippocampus. It's a region of the brain associated with memory, emotion, and learning. So new cells were created after you observe silence for just 2 minutes. Sorry, 2 hours per day. Now that means that most of us do not observe 2 hours of silence even. And the silence is to be continuous. It doesn't mean that you are silent for 5 minutes and then you keep on gabbing and gabbing and then silence for another 5 minutes and like that. So this creation of the new cells with having impact on your memory, your emotional learning is extremely useful. So these cells appear to become functional neurons. So in a deep silence you can quite literally grow your brain. Can anything be better than that? Well, the wellness benefits are there. Some people say silence can in the airports can also bring about some funny mishaps. So what do the people think of silent airports? In 2015, Bristol decided to become a silent airport in UK. But one passenger was left outraged after he missed a flight. Now, as I said earlier, such passengers who don't know or cannot keep up with the timing do deserve to miss a flight. So there is nothing to be outraged about. And it's not the responsibility of the airports to keep on reminding you. No, you have to be up and doing. And the guy was left behind on a Dublin airport because he claimed it was a confusing experience at the Bristol airport. He turned up for his early morning flight on December 19, went through the security of the airport an hour and a half before the takeoff, and a priority boarding announcement was made. And then he sat quietly. Normally, after the priority announcement is made in the noisy airports, they announce the departure or the boarding of the non-priority passenger. Here they did not make it, and he missed the flight. So after about 5 minutes wait, he went to check again, and then he came to know that the doors were locked. Ultimately, 2 employees admitted. So this is a mistake. It is an inconsistency. There should have been no announcement even for the priority passengers. They should have simply have said, it can be displayed on the board, priority passengers boarding at X time, non-priority passengers boarding after 10 minutes, period of 15 minutes. So there's another very interesting example is in Bangalore in India. Bangalore airport is a silent airport. And what do? They announce it every 5 minutes, we are a silent airport. They don't make an announcement, but they make an announcement that they are a silent airport. That is stupid, isn't it? There's another airport in India which has been declared to be a silent airport. That's Mumbai airport. Now what they do is they ring a bell before they announce. And imagine they're adding to the noise. First they ring the bell and then they make the announcement. So they're adding and then they call it a silent airport. I think there's something wrong with the people's thinking. And the bell sounds come as an undertaker's entry music. So every time they ring the bell, you feel that the undertaker or the funeral van is coming. But some passengers are fans of the new policy. They say that the best silent airport is Dubai. Amazingly quiet and pleasant. 90% of the passengers said that Dubai airport is the most silent airport. Now, as I said, this trend is growing. The global silent airport trend is growing. And Major airports all across North America, Europe, Africa, Asia, and Australia have adjusted their announcement policies to make airport travel less disruptive. And some of the confirmed airports, which are silent airports, are Amsterdam, Barcelona, Bristol in UK, Cape Town in South Africa, Delhi Airport, Dubai International, which is supposed to be a SEN, Cancun in Mexico, Chennai Airport in India, Eindhoven in Germany, Helsinki in Finland, London City Airport, Mumbai Airport in India, Punta Cana International Airport in Dominican Republic, and Changi Airport. There is also Venice Marco Polo Airport in Venice, which is silent. So these airports have already gone silent, and passengers would be waiting which other airports are going to be silent thereafter. And this trend, which is growing, is an extremely positive trend. Let me tell you. It will save you A, from stress, B, from deafness, C, provide you with the new cells in your brain, and most important, make your travel stress-free, comfortable, enjoyable. What more do you want? So, shall I say, welcome the silent airports? They are at least one proactive decision, which is a welcome decision. Thank you.